So I'm in my comfy clothing, I'm in bed. We're gonna have a cozy conversation about what 2022 was like for me. I tried to make notes because I know if I start speaking from my heart, it's all going to escape me, meaning I babble and lose track of time. These are probably going to seem incredibly generic and bumper sticker quote type things because it's things you will hear every day. But I think I want to bring them up again as my own lessons for 2022 because, yeah, no, I saw it all. But without any further ado, I'm the sort of person who always or previously used to like sit in the moment and try to learn the lesson right there and then, like to avoid feeling hurt because is not understanding like why is this happening. Like if I can't reconcile it or I can't place it or I can't immediately go to a place of, oh, this is what this is trying to teach me. I get stuck in the why me, why now, why is this happening? So in order to try to not be that person, I try to say, oh, it was teaching me resilience. Oh, this was for character development. Oh, it needed to happen so that I could be elevated to this next thing. But it's become so detrimental because even that approach sometimes has me stuck in I don't deal. I couldn't heal or move on before okay, this is what I learned from this immediately, or this is my takeaway. So if you're there trying to constantly, you're going back and forth trying to say, oh, truly this is what I've learned, or this was what that was about. And every day you wake up and you're like, what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to teach me? And you say stuck. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes just let things simmer down, let it go. Even when the time comes, the lesson will be vivid if there's a lesson, because sometimes life just starts lifing and you can't even understand why. So yeah, just let it go. In hindsight, when you reflect one day or when you're in a moment and you're like, oh, light bulb, this is why that had to happen. But yeah, even if it doesn't happen, hindsight, it's like once you didn't even need closure, or you didn't even need to understand, or you didn't even need the thing that in the moment you felt like you needed but you didn't get. And I know we've seen this. I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen it in Reels, I've seen it on YouTube. But this is really my testimony. This is the truth. We ought to be a little more intentional about practicing gratitude. If you are a friend of the channel, if you are a family member, if you've watched, I think, any one of my videos, really, you'll know I'm big on gratitude. So no matter how things seem gloomy, difficult, take inventory of your life and you'll see that it's a miracle that you've survived the things you've survived. It's a miracle that you are still able to find moments and pockets of time where your life seems magical. Well, I romanticize my life, so my life truly seems magical. And I realized that I prayed for all of this. Like I willed it into becoming. So yeah, be intentional about gratitude because you're truly living in one of your answered prayers. We always say, be kind to people, you don't know what people are dealing with. Be kind to people, you don't know what people are going through. And I realized that, yeah, it's one of those things that seem popular, but it's the absolute truth. And I saw it in my own life because this year was beautiful, truly, for me. But with answered prayers comes a lot of responsibility, comes a lot of lows, comes a lot of incredibly difficult endeavors and challenges that you must face, and these huge tasks that you must undertake. And you're a beginner, sometimes it's not cute. You have to fail a couple of times and it's not easy. And yeah, there's just things that go on in life when you are stepping boldly in the direction of your dreams, or you are achieving things, or you are blessed. I've had people hold my hand. I've had people hold space for me. I've had people be willing to teach me. I've had people pray for me and with me. And I've had people have the grace to allow me to learn at my own pace. I've had days where I didn't even think I was showing up as I needed to. And there's just people who are kind enough to say, oh, hey, it seems like you're having a really bad day. Here's what I can do to help. Or people who listen. Even recently, my mom was ill, difficult time, obviously. And there's days where I just would go to work and I work at a pharmacy, right? And I have to speak to people who fihla to haketsamai. And sometimes I didn't have the emotional latitude. Like I would just get to work and feel like I wanna cry, and that's all I needed to do to get through the day. But I had to show up. It's work. And sometimes my colleagues would see me and they'd give me time to just sit in the office or take a bathroom break and just cry. That was kindness. That was grace. And it's changed my life because now I practice the same. I think I'm more understanding, I'm more patient, I'm more kind, and I am so full of grace. Yeah, holding Linda where I need to show up for people, Linda where I need to hold space for people, Linda where I see that somebody is putting that best foot forward, but it's not reflecting the results, to say, oh, okay. In being that person, when a person says, oh, thank you, you don't know how much I needed that, or you give a small act of kindness and you think it's really a really, really small act of kindness, and then people start opening up about, oh, you don't know how much that meant to me, and you realize, oh, it's sickness, it's relationships, it's work, it's unanswered prayers, it's dreams, it's family. I know, guys, we are. You just be kind in how I show up, in what I say yes to, in what I say no to, in how I live my life. I've learned to be an honest person because it serves nobody when you are not authentically yourself. And some people will just not like you. Some people will gravitate naturally to you. So don't be a people pleaser. Be authentic in how you show up. Be very honest about everything, your boundaries, your expectations, your desires. It keeps the people you don't want in, it keeps them out, but it also makes the people you love, it solidifies some parts of your relationships. I think it has done that for me, being honest. I call my friends my little village, my friends and my family. 2021 was hard. 2022 could have been just as devastating if I didn't have the people I have in my life, because it's stretched me so much. I've been pulled in all sorts of directions, but because I have the people I have in my life, because I have my small village, it's been bearable. When there's, I don't even know how to phrase it, but people do need people. You can't do life on your own. You need your family, you need your friends. And I think you also need to realize that you need to be intentional in cultivating those relationships, because at the end of the day, sometimes it really is all you have. When the chips are down, when you hit rock bottom, you need people. And I'm so grateful for mine. There's days, man, where you think you've wrapped your head around something that you've had to go through. Because even when you've reconciled and healed and all of these lessons you've applied, or it all adds up, or hindsight has a way of clearing things up, or you need to be intentional about being grateful. Guys, sometimes a flashback and it will rock you to your core, and that's okay. You're still healing. You've been set back just because you had a day when you're like, you know what? I wish my grandmother was alive to see this. Meaning you go into this place of longing and sadness and brokenness, and you curl up on the floor and you literally want to die from all the pain and anguish. That one bad day does not mean everything you've done up to that point will come undone. It's just that it's a bad day. I've had to oh my god, I just got a little bit emotional. And I'm not the sort of person who cries on camera. I don't want to have to edit this out. But when I say you never lose by loving, it's because after my birthday, I think I shared with you guys that I wanted to open myself up, because I'd become this incredibly closed off person. I had my 4 friends and my family, and that was that. I was not open to people, I was not open to experiences, I was not open to anything really. I just wanted my life to stay as comfortable and as predictable and as safe as it had become. So it's been a process, it's been a journey of learning what is for me and what's not for me, what's meant to stay, what's meant to go. I've learned that people are seasonal. It's just been lesson after lesson after lesson. I've lost a lot. I've lost people, I've lost things. It takes a lot out of a person, unfortunately. For me, it's been worth it. Well, in this moment, I feel like it has. I don't want to romanticize the things I've gone through, the losses and everything, but I feel like I didn't lose anything. I've become a kinder person. I've become an incredibly more open person, surprisingly. And I think I shared this in my video on Kiwaka vulnerability. Okay, it serves to grow me, all of it. I think maybe that's my thing. That is my thing. I believe everything is connected. I believe everything has to do with the other. I believe in lessons. So another way I'm choosing to perceive and recently is, yo, no, it adds up. I even said this, I think Ichulo Nopi the other day, I can't wait to do this again. Like, I'm the sort of person who's become joyful and excited, and instead of dwelling and wallowing, I dust myself up quickly and I'm like, let's do that again. And how I described it is, it feels like a roller coaster, but instead of the wanting to throw up and the fear, anxiety of that thing, how do you, I'm up there on the roller coaster and it's a thrill. And whether it be falling in love again, whether it be making new friends, like, I literally have become the sort of person who doesn't even flinch hakibona a person and I feel like, oh, I could strike up a conversation, or I'd really, she seems so cool in a space and we're there together. I will go up to you and tell you, oh hey, I like your vibe. So obviously there's the intro that come with being that sort of person, but because I do it from a place of love, because I function from love leads me, it's been worthwhile. I am a better person because of it. And this is definitely the sort of thing I'm taking into 2023, because I want more experiences. I want more ice cream. I want more walks. I want more friendships. I think when you listen to the things I've said, when you follow me, if you follow me on social media and if you've been part of this journey from the beginning, you know that it's not been the easiest with my job, with um I don't know what is happening to me. I don't know why everything. Reflections are hard. I probably should have done this alone instead of on camera, because, whoa. But when I say everything adds up, oh my god, my voice is even coming out. How? It's weird. I'm gonna need to edit so much of this out. But when I say it all adds up, it's because, yeah, truly, it's in hindsight. But I think one example is in emotional is with applying for school. You know my story. Like I said, if you were a friend of the channel, if you've been a subscriber for a while, if you're not, click on the subscribe button. And also, guys, share in the comments what some of your own lessons have been and takeaways from 2022. We're back. None of that shaky voice stuff. But yeah, it's from how I felt, where I was with my mental health, the pits in 2021, where I was depleted and I feel like I was at rock bottom. And yeah, you've seen the video, you know my story, to how I have all of these amazing opportunities for me and the thing I'm trying to grow right now, and my life in general. The things that I went through, the feelings that I had, the darkness that I felt was plaguing my life at the time, it has all served to make me the person I am. It has all served to pave the way for where I am now. I keep saying, I don't romanticize suffering. Some things I truly feel like I could have done without, even some lessons, truly. But yeah, some things are necessary for character development. And I think, emotions again. I think if you've watched, most of you guys will know Nozi Angana Mayaba. She's an HIV activist. And her most recent vlog that I watched, she was speaking about her testimony. And in the video, she said sometimes she sits and she wonders if she could go back, if she could, and have her life play out a different way. And for context, she meant if she would want to choose a life where she was not infected with HIV. And she said no, because of the people she's been able to help with her story, the testimonies that have been attached to her coming out and sharing with us all her story, her life, and what she's had to overcome living with HIV. And that's my own testimony. I'm not saying I've impacted people in a great magical way. But if I could go back and change the things that I've had to overcome, if it meant that I would not end up where I am today, I don't think I would want to change some of it. The jury's still out on that, but I have a life I enjoy. I have a life I truly believe is beautiful and worthy and worthwhile and purpose driven. And I just feel like I've been through things. Obviously, we all go through things. But if I had the choice, if I could go back and ask God, I don't think I would want to. In your job, in relationships, in your career, in your family, shooting my shot is the reason I am where I am today in my career, actually. In Lavo, I like to be pursued. So I guess you're having ladies, I would say shoot your shot. But if you're the sort of person who's like, hey, I see it, I want it, go ahead, girl. Shoot your shot even there. But for me, I think when we speak about shooting your shot, by and large, in the context of social things, shooting your friendship shot, shooting your love shot, shooting your relationship shot, sliding into the DMs. But for me, shooting my shot has been, I think I told you guys where I had to apply and they wanted my portfolio to show that I've worked on the things I have worked on, and I didn't have a portfolio because who knew I needed a portfolio? But I sent them a link to one of my YouTube videos, and then they went on to see the catalog of everything I've done on the channel. And at the time, I think I had less than 120 subscribers. So imagine the audacity where you're competing with great people, great minds, people banally body clinic, people who are working with the UN, people who run body hospital and non-profits. And I was like, even I too am passionate about bridging disparities that exist in our health system, and here's what I've done about it. And I succeeded, and I keep succeeding, and it's opened more doors. And you guys know I've told you about how I got into New York. I've told you about how I'm probably gonna end up studying for my master's. Saying angling absolutely nothing to do with my undergrad, where I absolutely have no background and no idea of what it's gonna be about. All I know is that I saw programs and I was like, I could probably benefit from this. I'm passionate about this. I could learn from those people. And I wrote letters, I shot my shot, I went on interviews, I failed dismally, but I kept failing forward and learning and improving. And now it's great. This I realized my Instagram page, yeah, well wise. I recently went back to wanting to work on my women's health advocacy efforts, education and support for women's health and reproductive and health rights. And I went back to the channel because that desire is what birthed the Instagram page. If you're not following, go follow. I'm going to get back to working. But in all seriousness, I gave up because even though I was not honest with myself at the time, I gave up because I started feeling like, but what's the point? You get the like it's a botaro on a reel you've worked on for a week, and you're like, am I even reaching the people I'm supposed to reach? Am I really building something that will last with this, or in nearly 2 seconds of bold and insane feelings? And are they even legitimate? Is it worth my while? So I abandoned it, and I've recently gone back to the page and like the views, the trajectory, like how it was growing hanyani, but steadily it was growing. I was growing in how I was able to come up with ideas and be creative and edit, and I was improving quality of the productions. But because I was not seeing immediate results, I gave up. And I think I've gone through the same thing, even though with the channel I've gone back and forth and I pivot and rest, and but I think it's disheartening sometimes when you feel like you're working on a thing and you're just not seeing the results. But then when you come back, that thing that I spoke about, like in hindsight, has a way of clearing things up. Sometimes I wish I'd been a little more patient. Sometimes I wish I'd stuck with it a little longer. Granted, which is why I said next time I'm gonna get back to doing the things I know I need to do. But I sit and I think if I'd spent this year working, being consistent, showing up even when the views were not there, even when the growth was not there, even when I was tired and I just didn't see the bigger picture. Knowing what I know now, I wish I'd understood from the beginning that building this thing is gonna take time. Building this thing would be brick by brick because I was literally starting with nothing. I was starting from the ground up. I had no idea what it would turn into. So I wish I'd been a little more patient with myself and I wish I had trusted the vision and the process a little bit more. I don't know why I wrote internet saying it's about I get in my feelings, but guys, people die, people fall ill, friendships, relationships they end. So when you're in it, give it your best. Throw yourself in there. Kaponalmen, idiot. I go ahead in first, but when I say the problem is we think we have time is in the context of people die. And I think when something like that happens, it forces you to stop, and for 2 seconds we share our feelings, we tell the people that we love them, we hold our friends and family a little closer, we hug them a little tighter, and then life just goes on and we forget, and then somebody else dies. 2022 taught me that I don't need to wait for all of that. I don't know, it doesn't even have to be about death. It could be relationships ending. It's loaded and layered, and it's one of those things that are difficult to to talk about without oversharing. But there's just things that I've learned this year also, that we get people for small periods of time, and just because they are not your forever person, just because you are friends with them now and you probably will not get to raise your kids together, or you won't end up really on a cruise when you're 60, doesn't mean it was not a solid friendship, doesn't mean it was not a relationship that was rooted in love. But the painful thing then becomes feeling like I wish I could have done that differently. I wish I could have told them I love them more. I could have hugged them a little tighter when I had the chance. I started my YouTube channel and it was that thing that had been on my heart. Like God was pressing it so hard on my heart. And it felt like, ke YouTube, but everybody's doing YouTube, so why must I? And I kept ignoring it, and then I had a person in my life who was more interested in the things that brought me joy than I was. And they kept encouraging me and they supported this dream, and they even did things to literally have me have no excuse. But the ring lights I have, the stands, they were all gifts. And it was because I'd said, oh, I have this thing at the back of my head. And we were speaking about my dreams and speaking about my goals and what I'm trying to build with Wellwise. And they were plugging me with seminars, connecting me with people I could network with. And by the time I started my YouTube channel, all I had to do was show up, do some research on women's health topics, and speak. And I realized that the only reason I was able to hold my own in those rooms, the reason I've been able to show up here week after week and speak about that thing or this thing or the other, is because I think I have the gift, this thing of me always wanting to speak, this thing of having an ability to just get in a room where I know nobody and just engage and be myself. It's opened doors for me. So I think it's just, if you go boldly, well, now my decision to go was not bold, but I decided to just start because it had been pressed on my heart and it was something I really had a desire to do. But I realized that I've only gotten as far as I have with it because it's bigger than just that desire. It's a gift, it's a talent, and I think it's going to, in some way or another, tie in and reveal to me what part of my life it serves to play a role in. And truly, all I thought in a fell, oh, I just enjoy speaking. Or people will say, oh, she's talkative, or she's an extrovert, or whatever. But I am choosing to view it as, had I not been that girl who was so interested in coming on here to speak about women's health and pivoting to just as easily opening myself up and opening my life up in vlogs and whatever, I wouldn't have this YouTube channel. And I've told you guys, I've shared with you guys on numerous occasions, what it's done for me. And it all is simply because I like speaking. And maybe starting from today, I'm a speaker. I'm putting it out there. I am gonna get stages to speak on and use my gifts, and my talents are going to make more room for me. It doesn't matter potentially or non a relationship in a leona if you meet a person and there's parts of themselves they've not dealt with. It doesn't matter how great you think they are. It doesn't matter how ready you were to pour into them. It doesn't matter how willing you were to work on the friendship, to put yourself out there. If this person is a cheat, they will cheat. I don't want to use that example because I said I'm going to share my own lessons and I was not cheated on, but I think it's relevant. Okay, sometimes it has nothing to do with you. If they can't see themselves as being worthy of pursuing a meaningful relationship where they are honest and they can expect honesty in return, where they reciprocate your energy, where they understand that you're with them because you love them and they project the issues abona and they haven't done the work to heal. If they haven't gotten to a point where they are able to, with themselves, be happy, there's nothing you can do, and it has nothing to do with you. So if they've only met themselves up to here, and when you feel like, oh, I see potential in them, I think they're a great human being. I think women say this, Christian women, oh, I've been called to him. Don't hurt yourself trying to be everything and anything that they need, twisting and turning. If they have no desire to be better than they are, even though you see great potential, they are probably going to break your spirit. We're not trying to drag them to what you see in them, trying to heal them. Stop going through nonsense because you see the best in people. Stop going through rubbish and giving them the benefit of the doubt. If they don't realize that they need to do the work on themselves in order to show up as a better boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, whatever, it's not your job to drag them to that part of your life. I also learned that guarding your heart is not to keep people out. It's not to build walls around yourself and your life and whatever. You can guard your heart, but still be an incredibly loving and open person and be yourself and still be authentic. Because now I think I'm this person. I think I've always been this person. It's just that I wanted to guard my heart and I ended up being cold. I ended up showing up in relationships wholeheartedly because the reservation about oh, people don't deserve access to you and whatever. And I'm selective about my circle, I'm selective about my energy. It's valid, it's true. You need to do that. You need to be mindful even when you've opened your heart. But I had to learn how to find a balance between guarding my heart and being somebody that was a little less guarded, a little less afraid of hurt, a little less afraid of disappointment, a little less afraid of, oh, what if it doesn't work out? A little less afraid of all of these other things that I was, but even in now, I call it guarding my heart. Does it mean there's no L's at 2022? Dating. Does it mean there's not been heartbreak and loss and rejection and all of those things? Dating. Does it mean I understand all of it, why it had to happen, or what it serves to teach me, or what role it plays in furthering me down this road? Yeah, pursuing my dreams and my purpose? No. But again, based on I have no doubt that God will use even this part for my good and for his glory. So everything, it works out in the end. Thank you guys for staying until the end. I love you so much. Please, please, please slide into my DMs anytime to speak, to share experiences, to suggest more videos. I love you. Thank you. See you in my next video.